February 28th, last day of the month. So in this video, I'm going to go over the trades that I took today. And I'm also just going to I'm going to show you guys my performance exports for the month, my first month trading a live account. I got clapped today and it sucks because today my analysis was actually correct and it completely worked out. I just had terrible entries, and the reason why my entries were so bad was because my stop loss couldn't go to my true point of invalidation. And I'm going to show you guys the live recording. But before we do the live recording, why don't I just show you guys my Trade Evade account? So if you guys have been here, you know this is my first time trading a live account ever. All the other accounts that I've traded have just been prop firm capital. So here is how the month went. Let me go to boom, this month. I'll just do PDF. And I posted this on Twitter too. You guys can give this a look. We got a gross P&L of 3,100. My total P&L is 2,400. I think that's after fees, I'm guessing. If you guys got any tips for how to save money with fees, let me know in the comments, please, because 800 in fees, now that I'm looking at it, is pretty wild. But I honestly have not done much investigation in how I could be saving with fees. It's probably one thing I should look into if I'm going to be trading a live account. But you give those a look. I don't even want to walk through every single one. But looking at my calendar, it's kind of easy to say like, oh, you should never trade on Fridays again. And it sucks because today my analysis was actually correct. I just had terrible entries that got stopped out. My first entry, I started this session, I actually forgot to hit record, so I started at like 8:35 or something. But what happens is we open up, get a strong sell-off, and then we get some strong buying, which you can see right here. And that created this low volume area that I have at like 6,750. And you're gonna see me mark it out with the box. I start at the initiation and then where that stopped. And then I kind of refine it as time goes on, like 68.50 roughly into 64.75, I believe. And that was based on the lower volume area. And what you're going to see is price actually taps it just a little bit and then immediately rallies like 16 points off of that area. And I'm bummed out. You can see me bummed out because I did not get long. It was just too quick for me. I should have been able to identify it and take the risk, but hindsight is 2020, and we were moving really fast today. So at this point, I'm like, damn, I think I missed that, and I did miss it. So I don't know if this is my first entry. My first entry was at 8:46. My first entry gets stopped out immediately. My second entry is right at 8:48. I get a full 4-point stop once again. I got filled at 76.25. You can see the top left here. And if I remember this correctly, we go up like maybe roughly 10 points. And then I move my stop loss to break even because I'm like, if we're off, we should be off, right? But it was a very volatile session today. And it was tough to get a good entry the first time, which I kind of folded. I definitely folded on that, but we go for a little push here. My stop loss is at break even. My stop loss was probably at set like right here. So I just get stopped out on this move and you're going to see me like, damn, this thing is going to go. I think I re-enter right here, or maybe, so I get an entry at 80. That's my third entry of the day. Stop loss, full 4 points. So now it's at like 76. Stop out right away. Then my final entry is any second here. And once again, it's going to be a full 4-point stop. That gets stopped out. We don't really even need to see it. But it was an unfortunate day. I told my chat that I was going to only take one entry today, and I definitely did not do that, as you can see by my behavior. But it was tough because I definitely noticed the opportunity, but my invalidation point was at, this area down here, 6.875 to like 6.5 area. And I was not patient enough, or I didn't get that entry. So I was trying it. And the reason why I keep re-entering is because my thesis is technically not invalid. So it's like, it really leads me to, it's basically just a bad trade decision, a bad entry to like anytime you take an entry where your stop loss does not invalidate your trade, that really doesn't make sense if you're trying to be a professional. So it's like, That's really what happened today. That's happened to me many days before. And then it sucks because after I'm done, I'm like, all right, I took 3 full losses. I got to leave. So then I call it for the session. And then, of course, we end up rallying to my first target, which was the high from overnight at roughly 5,900. My first target was 5,900, and then my second target was going to be 5,917, which was like an area where we kind of consolidated yesterday before selling off. Who knows if that will hit? That was going to be more of like a runner type of entry. So I was targeting 7 contracts at 5,900 and then 3 at 5,917. But the first entry, that 7 contract, those 7 contracts, that would have been like a 25, 30 point entry off like a 4 point risk or even less if I was able to get one better. But so, I mean, that was a bummer missing out on that because obviously I want to make money as a trader, but that's just what happened today. And like, yeah, I had a bad day today. I'm happy that my analysis was correct. I am unhappy that my executions were not good enough. But if you look at my month, we had a profitable month. And this account, so I've been misspeaking actually. I said this account was at 500, but now that I'm looking at the stats, I believe it was at 700, but still 700 into roughly 3,200. It's been a pretty good month. So as long as I keep it up with the risk management, and I just really got to get better at sticking to only taking an entry if my stop loss invalidates my thesis. I actually believe that happened on every single Friday. So that's kind of funny, but only taking entries where my stop loss invalidates my thesis and my exits. Like, I really need to work on my exits, but I think I've finalized like what I want to do for my plan. And moving forward, what I want to do for my plan is I want to have a first target that's within 10 to 15 points instead of just taking it off at 10 points. So if you guys are new here, I'll take an entry. And then what I like to do is I like to take either half or 70% off at 10 points just to secure a profit. And in hindsight, I think that's kind of stupid because if I can locate a good target that's within 10 to 15 points, then that's where I should place my first target and then let the runners go beyond that. Because whenever I don't do that, what I end up doing is I take 7 contracts or 5 contracts off at 10 points on the dot, and then I take the rest off at my first target, basically. So it ends up kind of like defeating the point of runners. Yeah, and then another problem I have is whenever I'm in a trade, I will be moving my targets up and down like as the trade is playing out. It's like I can't control my I shouldn't say I can't control them. Like, I have had issues just sticking to my plan targets. So that is what I'm going to work on in March. Working on, so yeah, for March, the focus is keep doing what I'm doing in terms of my plan, my strategy, and my rules. Add on to that, I need to make sure every single trade that I take has my stop loss is at a point that invalidates my thesis. And then on top of that, I need to work on sticking to a set exit strategy, which I just told you I'm going to say. That's the plan. If you guys like these videos, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're an order flow trader, tap into the Discord in the description. There's a bunch of order flow traders in there, and they all have different styles, but it's cool. So yeah, appreciate the support from everybody, and I'll catch you in March.